Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of Top Rope Wrestling Talk. I am not joined by Baby Yoda, Miss Wendy.
Yeah, she's not feeling. She was
Also,
trying hard.
Yeah, the force wore her out. She's not feeling good. She's got to get some rest. Unfortunately, also in his clown-nosed absence, Jose will not be with us tonight either.
Right?
But I am joined by the jack of all trades, the master of none, the soundboard extraordinaire, Dom. See it over there. And I am none other than really? No, that's not for me.
I know.
That was not for me. But me, the MJF mark, the high class one himself, Bruce.
I am better than you.
Yes, I am.
Second time's the charm. And man, it has been a while since we've been back.
Full force.
We've had a lot going on, a lot of big, events in wrestling, and right now none of them were bigger than the Royal Rumble itself. And
that was actually a great pay-per-view in a sense. It was.
Good. I can't lie. I really enjoyed it. I'd maybe give it close to 4 stars. I'm not Meltzer or anything, but yeah, it was a solid show. I mean, The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan in that strap match was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Absolutely, like the storytelling in that match was insane. Like, Daniel Bryan has the way of selling the underdog so well, and he did it all match. And then he had his little heat up where he came back, but like definitely showed the dominance of the Fiend. And I don't know if I don't know if they're creating the monster that they never wanted to create with the Fiend. Like, Braun was on his way to the Fiend status, and then they kind of kiboshed it because they got scared. But seems like they're not scared of the Fiend and just letting him be totally dominant, because
not at all.
If you look at him, there's no one that can beat him.
There really isn't. I mean, even at one point in that match, Daniel had the yes lock, Lavelle lock, whatever you want to call it, cinched in with the strap just in Bray Wyatt's mouth. And I'm just sitting there like wide-eyed thinking, holy shit, like,
Yowie, wowie.
He's going to do this.
Yes.
And it didn't. And after that, it was just didn't even phase him. No sell, claw, done.
Yeah. Claw from the top rope.
From the top rope, like, threw him down, just unbelievable. It was definitely a great match. I expected it to just be like, he's gonna come out, squash this dude, move on, and it was nothing like that. So that kind of blew me away. I gotta admit, and I think you'd agree to this, with the men's rumble, when it started, I was sitting there, and I'm just like rubbing my head because it's late at night. It's getting there, and we've been through all this, and it's been a good show. And now you're just watching Brock Lesnar toss people left, right, and center, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, he's just gonna bowl through everybody. This is ridiculous.
I was so like, I call this the tale of two men's Royal Rumbles.
Yeah. It was like the wait for it men's Royal Rumble.
the first half of the Rumble, I call it my Lesnar fit that I was having. like I was having a Brock fit in the first half, and I was so pissed. I was almost ready to shut the pay-per-view off and go to bed.
Can we do like a fourth?
So mad.
Can we do like a fourth wall break for a second? Because we had thought about recording our reactions to people coming out in the Royal Rumble, and we tried to, and we were so pissed and we were so loud that both our wives told us to cut it the fuck out. Shut up.
Fourth wall broken. Like I am no lie, not kidding. My wife opened our bedroom door, stuck her head out, lipped. She didn't say it out loud because she didn't want to be loud. She lipped this and she goes, "I'll punch you in the face." Is exactly what she told me. I love my wife to death, and I was like, "What? Okay,
Because
stop
about
record, stop
about
record."
every 90 seconds, I was screaming and yelling about something like, "What? What
Yeah.
are you Harrison, all this comeback? He gets 9 seconds. Are you fucking kidding me?" Blah, blah, blah. And my wife walked out of the back because she was trying to get her son to sleep. Walked out of the back and just knocked me upside the head and went, "Shut the fuck up." Walked out. Like right over there, I was on the couch, and she goes, "Whack! Shut the fuck up!" and stomped back in. I was like, "Ooh, I better."
Yeah, dude.
Morrison, and then that was it.
I got to Keith Lee. That's where I got to Keith
And
Lee.
the rest of my reactions were like faces without sound or like screaming without shouting.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was really sad. So I'm sorry, guys. We tried to do it. It got shut down by our significant others. Blame them.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
we didn't get the reaction. I didn't get to give the reaction for the two parts that I wanted to, which was the giant edge.
You got to the good part though before we broke fourth wall, which was where the rumble turned when all of a sudden Keith Lee's music hit.
Oh, dude, yeah, the tale of two rumbles. Yeah, so I was basically like, I was at the point where like Lesnar's gonna throw all 29 of these fools out and he's just gonna win. But Braun came out like I could have been happy if Keith Lee eliminated Brock. I would have been so stoked if that would have happened, but
it was so cool to see the two of them in the ring by themselves. And that moment, because even Brock looked at Paul Heyman and went,
"Who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck is he?" And then Keith Lee hits him with a shoulder and drops him, and the look on Lesnar's face, I mean, he sold the fuck out of him. He was like, "Oh!"
Yeah, he's like, "Who the fuck is this?"
And at that point, again, I can't be loud, but I'm sitting there under my breath like, "That's your ass, Lesnar!"
Honestly, when Ricochet and Drew eliminated Brock, like, I think at that moment I knew or had a feeling that it was gonna be Drew that won the Rumble.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
gonna win the Rumble.
As soon as Drew walked in the ring and looked Brock dead in the face and said, "Bring it to me,"
Yeah.
and Brock peeling those UFC gloves off,
Yeah.
the little quarter glove, I was like, "Oh shit! Either Drew's gonna eliminate him and win, or Brock's gonna kill him and ruin his career from here on out."
Yeah, it was that moment where it was like, okay, are they gonna continue to make Brock look this
Dominant,
like the human version of the Fiend that he is? Because I mean, I guess you don't really consider the Fiend human because he's an alter ego or whatnot, but that's not the way he's perceived.
right?
But yeah, like,
It was so nice though, because like I seriously saw. I think I said it on the last show. I could see Brock Lesnar winning that Rumble and going on and beating the Fiend and taking both belts and just being like, "Okay, going home."
like honestly,
and thank God for Drew McIntyre, because that was my moment of the night when he eliminated Brock and went on to win. I was losing my damn mind.
Oh, dude, I was going freaking ape shit, fucking crazy when Drew won. I was like, yeah.
But in between, Drew eliminating Brock and winning, we had a moment that was probably like most wrestling fans' moment of the night in the Royal Rumble, and that's the countdown comes down on like number 21, and the buzzer goes off, and all you hear is,
"You think you know me?"
Yes. Oh my God.
Welcome back, Edge.
That was second to none, or right next to the Hardys' return at WrestleMania.
Oh my God,
Like,
it might have been bigger. I can't remember a pop like that. Just not only in the arena, but like all over the place. There were videos on Twitter everywhere of people just losing their
Oh,
fucking
dude.
minds.
Dude,
And I couldn't be quiet at that point.
no, there was no being quiet. I was doing the.
It was like, ah!
Yeah, I was going crazy. It's so great, the rumor on the street and the word is that he signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
So he's back for 3 years at least. So that's barring injury or him getting hurt, which is freaking awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
I was gonna say, to be honest, that's great news for me because
Yeah.
he looked so good in that Rumble. I'd like to give a slight Stone Cold salute to Kevin Dunn for the intro because like they flash over to the crowd and they're showing people like reacting. Meanwhile, in the ring, Edge is spearing the shit out of 2 people already, and we've totally missed it.
Yeah, he gets right in the ring and spears 2 people right off the bat, and we don't get to see it because they want to show people.
WWE came out with like, oh, here's the footage you didn't see, but it's like I would rather, I know people are losing their minds. I can hear it. I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
Let me see what he's gonna do. Because he came out and he was just in Oprah mode. He was like, you get a spear, everybody gets a spear.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Show the crowd.
And there was a point towards the end when he was in the final 4 at right before he threw Orton out, or actually right after he threw Orton out. I had the whole, oh my God, is he gonna win? I had that thought like, holy shit, is Edge gonna win?
No, me too.
Is Edge gonna win this Royal Rumble?
It came down to Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns, and Edge, and I was thinking 2 things. One, I want to see Edge spear the shit out of Roman Reigns, which he did, and I lost my mind. I was like, hey, Roman, you thought you knew him.
You stole his move.
Yeah, exactly. Thought you stole it. Bam! And 2, after that, I was thinking, man, if Edge wins this, like, who's he going after? Like, is he going to go after Brock? Is he going to take on The Fiend? Because, oh, God.
Right.
One, I worried for Edge's health because Brock is a beast and The Fiend is The Fiend, and his neck is holding on by a thin thread.
The only match I'm worried about for him is Seth Rollins.
Which is
he's the true legend killer.
Does that sting? Which is crazy because now there's reports that Sting will be coming back for the Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia.
No, that match is being moved. Sting won't go over there.
I didn't think he would to begin with, but
it's being.
Wow, that's a big check.
Being moved to WrestleMania.
Okay, better. Still better.
That's where it's at. I mean, I can't say that's where it's at because I'm in the freaking meetings with WWE.
Right.
No, that was the last that I read.
Like, you might
like the last thing that I read was that it
the
got
last
shot down in Saudi Arabia, and
WWE is looking for some new presidents, vice presidents of Titan Industries. So I'm just saying, Vinny, we're available. Give us a call.
Call me.
I'm at Mutant Fox on Twitter. Just hit me up real quick.
Or you can come find us all at Top Rope
Top
WT.
Rope Wrestling Talk.
You can get a whole crew. You can get all 4 of us. Hell, you can get all 6 of us if we get our other 2 admins.
If we could find the rest of them, you get all of them.
Yeah, right. We're a very spread out team right now, as you can tell by the last few episodes that we're kind of spread amongst the world of being adults.
We love you, YouTube. We love you, podcast platforms, and wherever else you might hear this or see this. We're trying to help you out. But it was kind of a big deal. I think it might have been yesterday we found out that Vince McMahon fired 2 of higher ups in WWE, his president and vice president, and now there's all these reports of WWE's stock just going.
Dude, like I read the stock's down to between $4 and $7.
Yeah, it took a nosedive. And that happened right after he fired these people. So I guess he saw the numbers, fired them, and then the stock went poof. or maybe one has to.
Lost
I
a
don't know much
billion
about
dollars.
business. If
They
I knew
lost
much
a
about business,
billion.
we may not be doing things like this. Is all I'm saying. So, but when you lose close to $1 billion,
You might.
want to
Yeah.
consider changing your shit up, which is again one of the reasons I think they got Edge back at the Royal Rumble. They pushed Drew through as the winner. They're trying to do things differently.
Yeah.
Like there's even a report which I turned into a keep it or kill it, which would be Charlotte Flair challenging Rhea Ripley to a match at WrestleMania would be the best match possible. Keep it or kill it. Oh wow, the fans love that one.
Hey.
Fucking sound.
You know, looking at it, keep it is the best match for her possible. But this is a double-edged sword. If you stop and think about it, like this match could be amazing, off the wall, fucking great, but Rhea has to keep the title.
Yeah.
You can't have Charlotte win the NXT Women's title, because then she's going to be on NXT and she's going to take the spotlight from that very young, very good
packed
division.
Yeah.
Very packed division. You think Io Shirai's pissed right now because she ain't getting TV time or title runs? Imagine if Charlotte came and took the title.
Right. All right, so you're saying keep it, so we're gonna hit.
Awesome!
And I'm saying keep it too.
Awesome!
Because for a lot of the same reasons, but the thing that I will add to this is, if Rhea keeps the title, it's not like it's going to kill Charlotte's momentum or career or any kind of push going forward, because she's still Charlotte.
Yeah.
So they could have this match at WrestleMania, and it's just going to solidify Rhea as a champion in NXT, and it's going to help bolster the NXT brand overall, like kind of like they did at Survivor Series. It also opens up the door for Becky versus Shayna, which I've wanted to see since Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Because it was like they kind of had it, but they had it with Bayley, and Shayna choked her out, and I was just thinking she didn't even need to be in that match.
No.
So I would love to see that too. It opens up a world of possibilities. I know we are kind of overlooking the fact that Rhea has a match against Bianca Belair at TakeOver leading into, but I don't see her dropping the title. And even if she did, again, I could see Charlotte saying, "Okay, I want Bianca because I want something new. I want a new challenge. I've already gone after Becky. We've done this over and over again. I've gone after Bayley. We've done this over and over again. You know who I've never faced? The NXT Women's Champion."
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is that Belair's probably going to be going to Raw soon, because I mean that's where her husband is.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
And they don't like to keep husband and wife separate, hence why Becky and Seth are on Raw, and
or Andrade and
Andrade and Charlotte are together.
Aleister Black, Zelina, you know,
Rusev and Lana.
There's some weird couples, not Rusev and Lana, but like the other two. They're like some weird,
like Vega couples. And Black, like.
Yeah,
like,
that's just,
really.
That mental picture is like, what?
Yeah,
how did that happen? Opposites really do attract, I guess.
Oh my
Charlotte and Andrade. It's like, how did that happen? Like, I don't get it. But whatever, you're happy. That's cool. Good for you.
Like, thinking of, like, let's talk about the women's Rumble match. Like,
oh man,
it was amazing.
Yeah,
it really was, from start to finish. It was good.
It was a better overall match than the men's Royal Rumble match was. Because, like I said, with the men's, it was kind of the wait for it Rumble. Like you see Brock tossing people, and you're just like, wait for it. Okay, Now we can have a good match. With the women, it was just from top to bottom. It was just a great match. Every minute of it. Like, there were so many standout performances. Bianca was one of them. I think she set the women's record for most eliminations in a Rumble, 7 or 8. And Beth Phoenix coming out and fighting with that gash on the back of her head, and like the entire
Smacked it on the ring post.
like instead of the crimson mask, she was rocking like the crimson ponytail because like everything was blonde and then the back of her head was just blood red. And she was still in the match fighting and eliminating people and must have spent close to a half an hour like just bleeding out of the back of her head. I mean, that was impressive as hell. Some of the returns were kind of impressive, like Molly Holly. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. Super Molly too. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
Mighty Molly made her
Mighty
comeback.
Molly. I apologize. Mighty Molly.
I did think the Santina hurt the Rumble. Like there was no need for that.
I mean, it was nice kind of comedic relief, but at the same time, it was also bad timing because you had that whole thing where Becky cut the interview where she was quoted about saying, I'm not the best woman. We need to take women out of the equation. We need to be looked at as wrestlers. And then all of a sudden, Vince McMahon came back with his can't and added to his can't say list, and now women's is out of it. You can't.
That's
say
what
women.
I was saying the other day on one of our posts on Facebook. Like there is no more women's title. It's the NXT. There's 2 NXT titles on NXT. There's the Raw title, then there's the SmackDown title, and then there's the tag titles. No longer the women's tag title, is tag titles. Like, okay.
Personally, I don't care what you call them. You're calling that to decipher them, because you got the NXT champion Adam Cole, and then you have the NXT champion Rhea Ripley.
So it like if you're gonna take my thing is if you're gonna take the women's out of the name of the title, you damn well better start having intergender wrestling.
Which they won't.
You
They won't, but they should.
No, they won't. But I mean, that's basically what they're doing. That genders don't matter. Okay, and it's cool. Like, okay, genders don't matter. So why are we not getting Becky versus Seth at WrestleMania?
Right. I mean, if genders don't matter, we're not using women's in front of anything anymore. Then are we going to have women fighting men? I feel like this is more of a knee-jerk reaction to Tessa Blanchard than anything that has to do with women or anything that Becky said. And that's sad because, you do have the platforms and the impact, no pun intended or no disrespect to the other company, where you could really make change and you could really see a female WWE champ or Universal champion, but you won't do it.
Nope.
Because you don't believe in it. Okay,
no.
But instead we'll take women's away from everything. It just seems like
it's stupid. So
it's very stupid. It seems like you're trying to shortchange women because, we'll take that out of the equation, but we won't let you challenge for a male title. Well, then what's the point?
Yeah, and it's so funny. Like if you go back in time, and it's like you can almost pinpoint every time one company does something before WWE, and then you see their counter to everything. It's Tessa winning the title, so now they took the women's out of the titles. AEW went Wednesday nights. They put friggin' NXT on USA.
Before AEW even debuted, they're like, we're putting it on, but we're only doing an hour, and then we're going back to the network, then we're doing 2 hours.
Yeah, like
even AEW has a pay-per-view on Saturday. All of a sudden, we're going to do the Evolve anniversary special on the WWE network.
Yeah, exactly. What was it? It was I think it was. Which one was it that AEW did? It was the Fyter Fest. It was at Fyter Fest. When they did Fyter Fest, they did the Evolve
They were so worried about it. They're like, we're going to throw something on next to it. And
we're going to put Evolve.
We're also doing a TakeOver UK that day too. So just keep watching WWE Network. Don't worry about them over there. And it's like, when it comes to WWE, they seem to do more damage control than prevention. Instead of changing before the competition creeps up and does something that might make you look bad, you'll wait for them to do it, then you'll counter with something else. You'll do damage control after the fact. But you won't say, hey, let's do this because we know AEW is coming, or let's do that, or because we know Tessa's probably going to get their title. Let's do this before she does,
They're
instead of,
straight.
oh, it happened. Let's do it after the fact.
They're straight up playing defense. Like they're straight. It's so funny. Like 90s and early 2000s, they're on offense. 2010s till now, they're on defense.
They're like defense wins champ. And the best part is they're up and but they're only up by, because we're football guys. They're up by 3. There's like 2 minutes left, and they're playing prevent defense.
Yep.
And prevent defense prevents nothing. So it's a feeble attempt to try and come in with something after the fact. And they have changed a little bit, like even watching Raw, maybe not SmackDown, but even watching Raw and seeing some of the things that happen there, and seeing Edge, and as happy as you were to see him back, you wanted to plan Randy Orton's murder after Raw was over.
Right?
Randy
Dude,
Orton
that
might be
segment was
more
so
hated
awesome.
now. The Viper
so
might
awesome.
be more hated after Monday night than he ever was in his entire career.
Dude, the RKO and the one man concerto.
Oh, and Edge just kind of jerking in the ring. I was like, it was immediate Britt Baker at the end of Raw. Oh,
yeah, right.
No, you just got here. No.
So can we talk? I got to bring this up. And there's something to do with NXT and AEW and this whole thing, and I'll bring it together with the part that brings it together. So at Royal Rumble, Jose's main man, the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara, invaded the Royal Rumble in his toy tank.
A Power Wheels tank, yeah.
Yes.
My kid has one of those.
And it was friggin' great.
It was wonderful. He did Steiner math in the parking lot.
Yes, it was so funny because he was in the tank making fun of WWE, but he was out there making fun of WCW and Impact promos.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to get you a sacrifice, and I got a 33.37% chance of winning. They're like, sacrifice? What are you talking about?
Now we've got that same toy tank,
right?
That you go over to NXT. That Shotzi drove in.
I was just about to say Shotzi
NXT, the same tank that she drove.
Hank jacked him in the parking lot and started driving it down Full Sail.
Shotzi was like, "Hey, I'm jacking this shit and I'm bringing it to Full Sail for NXT Live." And she just comes driving in the same tank. I was like, thinking to myself, well, I'm like, it's like now that we're talking about it, I was like, so you're actually going to like say that tank is real, and like you're saying, like, okay, someone from AEW does it first, but now NXT is gonna do it, so it's gonna be cool.
That goes back to my point. Is like you play prevent defense. Like, we're gonna use the tank. It was fun. It was funny though. Yeah. Like, see, it's do that. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, and Jose's gonna wish he was here, but I'm kind of starting to like Sammy.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
When he first burst on the scene, like not even in AEW, like when I started seeing him in Lucha Underground, I thought, wow, this guy's a real douchebag. Just what's with all the pandas? I don't get it. And he could wrestle, but I mean, he was just, I was like, I don't get it. I just don't, like, you're great in the ring, but your character is garbage. And ever since he came to AEW, he's just kind of evolved and grew on me. And now I'm like, this guy isn't so bad.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I agree
feel
with
like
you.
Next year I'm gonna be like the head of the Sammy Guevara fan club, like, because he's already. I'm gonna be like, just hashtag Spanish God in every episode.
Dom's gonna be doing a live feed during Dynamite pay-per-views, holding up a Spanish God sign the whole time while he's watching it, just going like this from his couch.
I'm gonna come on the show with poster boards that just say Sammy is great. Sammy really is a god. I'm so sorry about his episodes. Please forgive me. Come do an interview. Follow us at Top Rope WT.
Dom's gonna have his own cue cards.
So stupid.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because like I watched Dynamite live and then I went back and watched NXT. And I'd already seen Sammy in the parking lot with the tank and the bullhorn doing his best DX impression while throwing in some Steiner math and just being really funny and entertaining, and I enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden I see Shotzi Blackheart coming down the ramp in the same tank, and I'm like, she stole that shit.
Yeah.
She stole
Yo, and that tank was moving too.
it really was. She was
Like, I thought
booking
she
like
was gonna die.
she was going faster in that tank than the Undertaker ever did on a chopper. Ever. Because he just come putting out his.
Did she not see Rusev's WrestleMania entrance? You're supposed to go slow in those fucking things.
I know, you could hurt somebody with those tanks.
I can't believe Hunter had the budget.
Right, that was big. I don't know. He must have begged Vince for the extra money for that tank. That spared no expense. It was authentic.
So since we're
the Khan family with Sammy, they spared no expense to get him that tank.
none. They broke the bank on that tank. They were like
all of $79.99 on clearance at Walmart. It was good though. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
Sammy, Shotzi, whatever. Keep doing your thing. That was fucking awesome.
So
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but we should kind of transition from WWE to Ring of Honor. I know, because they're actually putting together like an insanely solid show. They've got Super Card of Honor coming up with some amazing matches. They've seemed to have worked things out with New Japan Pro Wrestling. They've seemed to have kind of just bounced back overnight. And it stands to wonder, well, I don't know, maybe it stands to wonder if Marty's signing and being placed as, head booker, right, has to do with this card, this newfound mended fence between New Japan and ROH. I mean, they were the TNA of wrestling a couple of weeks ago.
A couple of weeks ago, listen, let's be honest. Their shows that they're having that you see on YouTube and stuff, they still have like 20, 30, 40 people there.
Mm-hmm.
But this super card that's in Lakeland, that is actually only like 2.5 hours from me. God damn. I should go.
You really should.
I really should.
You really should.
This is one of those things, and I was talking to Marshall on Facebook about this. We were going back and forth. I even think you were in there too. My thing is, dude, this card is stacked. You got Jay White, you got Ospreay, you got Marty, you got Flip, you got all these greats that everybody wants to see. Brody King just re-signed as well with ROH.
I saw that as we were coming on, yeah.
But the big question is, what's going to happen to ROH after New Japan and those guys go back to Japan and Super Card's over?
Right.
What are they going to do when they start doing their TV tapings?
Mm-hmm.
What are they going to do when they start doing their pay-per-views? Because here's the thing, those New Japan guys aren't going to be on every TV show. They're not going to be on every pay-per-view. So where does that leave you? Like if you stop and think.
When you look at the reports on top of that like even the New Japan US promotion,
New Beginnings,
they're in the works of getting a TV deal with Vice. So once they get that, they probably won't be able to work with ROH as much, if at all. I mean, it just depends on what the deal has involved in it. If it's exclusive, then nope, buy ROH will be over here, and they may end up with a better TV deal than Ring of Honor has right now, which is sad considering they're owned by a broadcasting company. You'd think they'd get on a decent time and network.
And it, like, if you really look at it, like, with WWE scooping every major star up out there that is possible, and then what's left over, they're going to either Japan or AEW now. ROH is very slim pickings. Like, and don't forget, these guys are going to NWA as well. Like, I didn't, and but that's another working relationship that Marty got for ROH is with NWA, which is another huge working relationship. If ROH can actually make these working relationships work, and
as opposed to the first time,
if they can figure out a way to get these relationships over with the fans, you could technically see an ROH invasion of power. Or you could see, I mean, you've already had Nick Aldis run in on an ROH show.
Yeah, Strictly Business showed up at an ROH show and jumped Flip Gordon, and that's what led to that match at Hard Times. And now on the last episode of Power, they had like a sit down between Nick Aldis and Marty Scurll. And Nick told him, "I'll give you another shot at this at the Crockett Cup. Like, you can get an NWA World Title match." But he added a stipulation, and the stipulation was, if Marty loses this time, since he's now Big Money Marty, as Nick calls him, if Marty loses this time, he's got to refund everybody's ticket that comes to the arena. This is their first big arena show. They haven't said where it is yet for the Crockett Cup. And if Marty loses, he has to give everybody their ticket money back. And Marty has not accepted these stipulations yet. He just, Aldis told him this is the deal, walked off, and Marty was just kind of like, as Power went off the air. So I'm wondering whether or not he's going to take the stipulation, because if he does, I don't see any other outcome than like him taking this home.
Yeah.
Just Charlotte goes with Marty, because he's not. There's no way he's going to turn around and be like, here's your money back.
Yeah. How awesome would it be to see Villain Enterprises, to see Marty, to see Flip, to see Brody King, and to see PCO walk down the friggin' bleachers?
Yeah.
At a TV taping for NWA.
It was cool enough to see a couple of the Ring of Honor guys in the TV title tournament, and of course Flip fighting Nick Aldis at Hard Times, because you had like Dan Moff and you had Matt Cross and a few of the other guys from Ring of Honor in the television title tournament. And then you had Flip versus Nick in the main event, which Aldis barely won, by the way.
Dude, Flip Gordon is so underrated, and people don't give him the credit that he deserves.
That match at Hard Times showed it. He really is so underrated. Like,
I've seen clips of it.
I'll be honest, if it weren't for Thunder Rosa and Allison Kay, that would have been match of the night. And it only wasn't because Allison Kay and Thunder Rosa might have had a match of the year candidate on that pay-per-view. Like, it was outstanding. But Flip had a great match against Nick. He lost in like a quick roll-up, and then Aldis bolted with his title after like a 25-minute match where it looked like Flip had him a few times. And he put on a great show. I almost... There were points where me and a few other people in our discussion thread for it at Top Rope on Facebook were like, he's going to do this. He's going to fucking win he's going to win the NWA title. Like, he's going to be standing next to Marty on ROH television with this on his shoulder, like me.
Just like PCO with the ROH title.
Right. And Villain Enterprises is going to be dipped in gold, and then Aldis rolled him up. 1, 2, 3. I'm out of here.
Dick.
Total
no,
dick.
But I think Marty's gonna be the one. Like Marty can't win the ROH title now. Let's just say he if he wins the title, it's gonna be like what everyone thought was gonna happen in AEW. Everyone thought the Bucks were gonna win the tag titles. Everyone thought Cody would be the champion.
If you're not old enough to remember, like Bruce and I had, think about what killed WCW. Guys who had creative control were putting the title on themselves.
Yep.
Guys like Kevin Nash. Guys like Kevin Nash said, okay, I'm going to be the one to beat Goldberg. And he did. And then the next week, what happened? Finger poke of doom, all because a guy booked himself for a title match and then booked that in afterwards. And it pretty much just took
Started the
WCW
decline.
down. It created it flat out. Like, they were riding high with Goldberg and the NWO, and then that happened, and then those two events took place, and from there it just.
I think
right
the split of the NWO hurt too, and then the 8 billion members in the NWO.
I think the true beginning of the downfall, if you want to say anything, was probably NWO Sold Out.
Yeah,
the pay-per-view. Because I mean, it was a bad concept to begin with, and then you're watching it, and you're watching the NWO lose matches in matches where the officials are NWO officials.
Yeah.
How do you lose a match when the ref is in your corner?
He's in your pocket. The NWO should have ran the friggin' table.
Right, they should have dominated, and they lost 2 or 3 matches on that card that night, and then from there we had the Nash beating Goldberg thing, ending the streak. Then we had the finger poke, and within, not even a year, the next thing you know, Shane McMahon standing in the ring in WCW saying he bought it.
Yeah. We bought you.
And that's why you don't want Marty to book himself as the ROH champion, because you're too close to it.
Uh-huh. It is basically making yourself the president of the United States. Saying, hey, you know what? I'm in the cabinet, but guess what? I'm the new president.
Yeah, I'm president now. Fuck you.
Yeah. You can't. He can't do it. If he wants to win a world's title, it has to be Charlotte. It has to be the NWA title.
Yeah.
Because he can't book himself to win that.
And it would, I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot of like longer reigning world champions than Nick Aldis at this point. So if Marty's the one to knock him off, it puts a huge shine on him and puts a lot of eyes back on ROH. It gets a lot of eyes on NWA. Like, it's beneficial to both sides. It makes Marty look great because he's never been a world champion in his 15-year career. And if the first time he ever wins one, he beats Aldis to do it, it just makes him look that much better. Plus, in order for him to take the title, he'd have to go after PCO, and you're going to break up Villain Enterprises after you just broke up the Kingdom. Like, you're not going to have... You have 6-man titles. You're not going to have anybody left to fight for those 6-man titles.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Like, ROH is still a mess for me.
They are. They're bouncing back. I just want to see, like, this obviously looks like kind of like a last-ditch effort. Like, we're going to put everything we have behind Supercard of Honor. We're going to hope this comes out well and people show up and watch and want to see more after, and then we're going to go from there. I don't think they have any plans beyond this one.
I don't think
nothing concrete. Like, let's see what happens here, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
But Marty winning the NWA title would be huge, just for both companies, for him. It would be about time that Aldis lost the title. I mean, he's had it for a year or two at this point, on and on. I mean,
he's had it on and off.
Tim Storm had it for a minute.
Tim Storm had it for like 3 years.
Cody had it for a minute. Tim Storm had it for a minute, but it's mostly been Aldis this whole time. So, for somebody to come in, knock him off, being a guy like Marty, and, I'd be all for it. So I'm hoping he takes this stipulation in this match, because if he does, you're almost guaranteed a new champion in April.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when you were saying that. I was like, I didn't want to cut you off, but I was like, it was like right on the tip of my tongue, like Marty has to win if he takes it. If he takes stipulation, Marty wins.
He's gotta. There's no other way around it. He has to. I mean, it's that simple. And not only that, it's also going to be interesting to see. The NWA is going to have their first like arena pay-per-view, not GPB Studios like they do with PAL.
For real?
They're going to find an arena. They haven't announced it yet, and they're going to do an actual like in-arena pay-per-view with thousands of seats. It's going to be interesting to see how many people actually show up? Because yeah, you can get a few hundred in GPB studios, but can you get, the kind of draw? Can you draw the kind of numbers that like not even AEW like All In did? Can you get like 10,000 people in a stadium to watch your pay per view? I mean,
I think they can.
I think they can. They got a lot of talent. It's the Crockett Cup, which I'm happy to see back. It's a lot of tag team wrestling, which you don't get in some places. You get like mixed match tag teams that win titles.
First time tag team winning the titles.
You get guys that didn't know each other 2 weeks ago winning championships and dusty cups. So that would be cool. It's definitely something that you don't get mainstream outside of AEW. So I'm all for that. Trying to think, what else were we going to talk about?
The fact that Santana and Ortiz don't belong in the inner circle.
We were going to talk about that with Wendy because you thought she was like, hold up, bro.
I really like if you stop and you look at the five of them, like Hager and Sammy, okay, they work. They work, But then you've got Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah.
But
the thing about the inner circle is they don't all five of them don't really fit together. Because you got Sammy, and he's kind of the young, cocky, brash guy, and then you got Hager, who's the quiet muscle type, and then you got Jericho, who's the spike-wearing leather rock and roll star with them, and then you got Santana and Ortiz, who are like the homies with the 40s. So like they don't really fit together as far as people, but they're like this weird like hooligan faction that just decided we're gonna get together and kick the shit out of everybody else.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I kind of see what they're trying to do. Like, I mean, it is weird at times. Like on the last episode of Dynamite, you had Proud and Powerful coming out with Jericho, and Jericho had like the Puerto Rican flag bandana around his neck. And it is weird to see a Canadian doing that, but it's solidarity, man. They're really trying to be like that ragtag group that just can't be stopped.
Oh, they got music now.
Yeah, they got music that's kind of like the NWO, where there's some music playing and you have the guy in the background going inner circle.
Yeah.
New world order.
Can we talk about the Arn Anderson play sheet? Or scouting report, should I say?
Well, every coach has their color coded,
Oh my god!
Usually you don't see the color coded plays on the back of the card. That kind of gives it away.
Guys, if you don't know out there, I'm an actual coach.
Yes,
I've been coaching for 9 years.
I was gonna say
like
a decade.
12 seasons. Yeah, I use a wristband now. Like the whole Andy Reid, like that's who I saw. That's who I saw on Dynamite was Andy Reid out there talking to Cody. Like,
okay, Arn Anderson is way smaller than Andy Reid. I know because I've met them both. Andy Reid is a planet. Arn Anderson, he's a little chunky, but
you get the point.
Arn Anderson's belt size is not equator. That's all I'm saying.
But you get my point.
His blood type is not Rocky Road.
And
or now it might be Kansas City baby back rib sauce. Oh.
And again, Cody doesn't need Arn. He doesn't need him. And then he comes at like I never have much bad stuff to say about AEW, but this I can't fucking stand. Then Arn gets in the ring and bumps the ref like a head coach in baseball bumping an umpire with Tony La Russa.
That was some straight up like day one rookie manager bullshit that he pulled. Because if you think about it for a second, watching that show, he was getting outwitted by Penelope Ford.
Yeah.
Who is scorching hot, but green as hell. Like, how do you Arn Anderson get outsmarted by Penelope Ford? I sat back just holding my head like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, he's not this dumb. Okay, he is this dumb because he's getting kicked out. Meanwhile, Penelope Ford's throwing shoes in the ring and doing all this shit.
Yeah. And that's how Arn got thrown out, because of the fucking shoe.
Right, and the referee's holding the shoe, and Penelope Ford has one shoe on, and he's like, wonder where this came from.
Did you put this in here, Arn?
Yeah, Arn, this is yours, isn't it? Yeah, I wear high heel Doc Martens. You got me.
With sparkles.
with bedazzled high heel Doc Martens.
Oh my god.
I mean, it was the whole thing was a little on the lame side. It wasn't just Arn in that; it was the whole story at that point. And again, I'm not one to say a lot of bad things about AEW because I love them, but this moment you got wrong. That and Britt Baker on the Jericho Cruise and the shitty barista promo.
Oh my
Worst things
god.
were fucking done ever. And the following week they had Britt out there to talk again. I'm like, no.
She didn't do that bad.
She
this
wasn't
week.
as bad. But the Jericho Cruise, oh my god.
That was
And before
horrible.
this, you were a shitty barista, and that guy's a shitty barista, and I'm a shitty barista.
Oh, dude, and like JR cut her off. That's the other thing that I want to talk about. JR cut her off, and JR didn't cut her off to be rude. JR cut her off because you got Matt and Nick and Cody in the back. Go to commercial. Go to commercial. Go to commercial. Go to commercial now. This is a bomb commercial.
Now. JR, say something.
But no. Speaking on JR, God bless his heart.
That old man. I really.
Isaiah Kennedy, Matthew Friedman.
Yeah. He had an off night. I'll admit.
He's look. Let's stop thinking about Attitude Era and what we loved, and let's look at reality.
Oh, I hear you.
JR's been off.
Yeah.
He's been off. Like,
I will say this. The show they had where Taz was sitting in with him and Excalibur was by far better. Like, JR was on point, Taz was on point. Excalibur was held in check, and I think that just kind of had a better there was just a better dynamic. Without him, it's just you got Excalibur all over the place, and Tony's chiming in with his rambling shit about something that you can barely even understand. He's like under his breath, and then JR's mispronouncing people's names. There's just something weird about it. I don't know what it is. So when they had Taz, Excalibur, and JR, it was beautiful. Like, it seemed like JR kind of had that chemistry with Taz, and then they were able to kind of hold the Excalibur to a certain point where he could only get in here and there instead of kind of just going off.
Yeah, so I mean, like, the word on the street and, in the dark alleys of the wrestling world is that, Taz, in the shadows of the wrestling realm, that Taz did sign that 3-year contract with AEW.
Right.
And, there's said to be another show coming out with sometime this year with TNT, probably on TBS. He's right now calling dark. But the word is that he's going to come in periodically and eventually replace Jim Ross on commentary. Now, is this like Jim Ross being replaced but working behind the scenes?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Or is this Jim Ross saying, it's time to retire?
It may be Jim Ross calling his shot. I'm kind of 50-50. I'm like torn on it.
Yeah.
It may be Jim Ross calling his shot and saying, all right, let me slowly transition, work my way out. I've had a good career. But from what I've heard from him in interviews and, that type of thing, he's really enjoying what he's doing with AEW. So I don't know if he's going to completely leave. I think he might, step into the back, maybe take over that kind of talent relations position.
He needs to be creative.
Well, that too, that he did in WWE, because, JR is credited for finding a lot of the guys that are in the WWE Hall of Fame today. and building them up through the WWE
He
system.
was one of the biggest parts of finding the people for the Attitude Era.
Right. And not only that, but like, finding them and then calling their matches and giving them their nicknames and everything. I mean, the Texas Rattlesnake, the Brahma Bull, the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
He brought Stone Cold.
The bionic
redneck. Found The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Like he got Stone Cold pushed into the forefront. He discovered The Rock. He's done a lot for the wrestling industry and for WWE in general. And I think he would probably like to continue to do that for AEW. And I'm not against that. I just think maybe either his commentary days are limited or they're going to go back to that dynamic where they put Taz in there with JR and Taz is kind of lead commentary and you got, JR and Excalibur just doing color.
Yeah, that
worked out. That worked out so well on that episode, and Taz does a great job on Dark. Even if the matches aren't very good, like he's keeping you interested and giving you little things about the way the match is going and the moves. And
he's always been that way, though, dude.
Oh,
he's always been one of the best announcers. I was so pissed at first when they put him at the table, but then I realized like how bad he fucked his neck and his back up, so he couldn't fucking wrestle.
Oh yeah,
okay.
He had fucked his neck up royally before he ever got to WWE. It was sad. It really was, because he came in like a house of fire. Choked Kurt Angle out when he was undefeated, and his neck just couldn't hold up. But when they threw him at the table, it was like wow. Because Taz had that motto that I think Jericho used to go by a few years back when he was with CM Punk, where he was just basically saying, I'm the best at anything I do.
Yeah.
If I'm in a ring, if I'm at a table, I am the best at anything I do. Even now when he's doing his podcast, he's probably saying, I'm best at what I'm doing. And shit, you're better than me. So...
But yeah, he is, and I can't wait to see what they actually have in store for Taz, whether it's continuing with Dark or going over to the new show or replacing JR, or even replacing Tony. Who knows? But I hope he's on television and not just doing Dark.
And to be honest, I think Tony does a better job like on Dark doing like the AEW headquarters.
Yes.
And like plugging their upcoming events and like leading you into matches and that kind of thing than he does live.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't seem to have it anymore. I don't know if it's just being away from wrestling for so long or getting up there or what. He just doesn't seem to have it live anymore. I mean, wasn't that great in WCW? Let's be real,
No, it was Bischoff that carried that crew.
It was either Bischoff or the Brain, basically,
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, and we touched on our announcers, we had a pretty amazing show for, the two-man ride that we had going on here.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate everyone that listens, watches, does, etc. So let's get on with the spiel. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. Let us know how you feel about the show. If there's any questions that you want to have asked or you want us to answer, or, you just want to say hi. Yeah. Do it.
And please share this shit. Yes. Share it on your social media.
Everywhere.
Your Twitters, your Facebooks, wherever. Put us out there. Let people know, like, hey, this is a pretty good show. You ought to check it out. Help us grow this thing a little bit more. We're getting there. We need a little help here.
Yes, absolutely. We want to grow. We want to continue to grow. Like, our show viewership's going up, so we want our member viewership, our subscribers, to go up, just like our numbers are going up on the views on our show. So we know people are watching us.
Absolutely.
You can follow us on Facebook. Come find us at Top Rope Wrestling Talk. We're a public page. Come on, ask for an invite. We'll gladly bring you in. You can post anything you want, anything wrestling.
Wrestling related, yes.
Wrestling related.
Sometimes not too. We let a few things slide.
Yeah, we'll let a few things slide. You can also find us on Twitter. Follow us at Top Rope WT on Twitter, and come on and join our festivities on there. We try to keep our posting a little bit different from Facebook on Twitter, so we don't have the same stuff going back and forth. We may pull a meme from Facebook over there, but it's a lot more interaction with the wrestlers and stuff that we get on Twitter that we really enjoy. And we have some pretty good interactions with Hammerstone and Pope and, a few other ones. So
Jesse Goddard's and his big
Jesse Goddard's is another one.
I see you, Mr. Spectacular.
some great interactions with. And you can also find us on Anchor. And this is really Dom's forte on this part. I do all the other stuff, and I try to I start it and then I pass it off to Dom.
Yeah, just go to our website, anchor.fm/TRWT. Our website will pop up. You'll see every episode we have in podcast platform there. Feel free to listen if you like. If you look at the top of the page, you're either going to see a bar or you're going to see options where they will give you all of our podcast platforms. You can pretty much find us wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Anywhere. Come subscribe to us there. Give us some ratings. Give us some feedback. Let us know what we can do or what we can talk about or where we can improve, where we can go from here, because it's not easy coming up with
content.
An hour a week for you guys, not knowing what the hell you want to hear about. So
yeah, let us know. Definitely let us know. Like the more fan questions or fan comments that we get, whether it's on Facebook, on Twitter, or even on YouTube, you can give us good ideas for segments. I mean, we have our Keep It or Kill It, and we have our wheel, that we use. We didn't use it this week because we didn't really need it because, we didn't have. There's only two of us, and we didn't have as many topics as we normally have. Was four minds coming together with topics, so we didn't need a wheel to spin to choose what topic we have. Give us some ideas, help us out. We love criticism. We'll take it and we'll spin it. We'll make our shit better.
Oh yeah, and anything that we get from our fans, we use. I mean, we were literally answering questions about who's going to win the Super Bowl, or how many roads can Dusty Rhodes dust if Dusty Rhodes could dust roads, or whatever. We don't care if you're joking around, whatever. If you give it, we try to use it, unless it's something that's going to get us kicked off YouTube.
Yeah, or Anchor,
or any get us kicked off in general.
Yeah, yeah. So. With that being said, everything being spewed out for Baby Yoda, Miss Wendy herself, for the clown himself, Jose, for my man Dom, and myself, Bruce, Mr. High Class, we are signing off.
Yeah, definitely.
Deuces.
Enjoy wrestling, guys.